I'm Alex.
I'm James.
And I'm Dan.
We're the Ragamuffins, and this is episode 57 of the Ragamuffin Music Podcast. It's a place for us to talk about the music that we love.
On this episode, we're reviewing brand new albums from Malevolence and Higher Power, as well as singles from Love Is Noise, Bilmuri, I Prevail, and Lorna Shore.
And later on, we'll be trying to predict who may headline Download Festival 2026. That's next year.
Let's get straight into the latest releases. We start with not one, but two brand new singles from Love Is Noise. We've got Hole in Me and All Eyes Shut, the second of which features Eric from Loathe. Along with this, we also got the announcement that the band is now a four-piece, with drummer, guitarist and bassist being added to the lineup, and just two massive songs to sort of further expand the Love Is Noise soundscape that we've already had so far this year, with a full album. So we're spoilt rotten to be getting two new singles so soon after the album, basically. Yeah. I think both of these are fantastic songs. They sort of each showcase a slightly different side to what Love Is Noise do. So I think for a lot of people, this would be a pretty perfect introductory point. Sort of got the heaviness on one end, and then sort of a bit more of the melodic, massive chorus, sort of like almost arena rock kind of vibes on the other one. So yeah, I think both these songs are fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's great to... I've always drawn some similarities between Love Is Noise and Loathe. So it's cool to have Eric featuring on All Eyes Shut, which is predominantly a pretty heavy song, a pretty dark song. But my preference of the two is actually Hole in Me. I really like the contrast of the acoustic intro, the almost shoegazy riffage throughout the song. Yeah, I love it a lot. I don't think either of these songs would really fit on the album, most recent album. But I mean that in a positive way of obviously these songs are coming out now because they wouldn't fit on the album, and it just shows how diverse the soundscape of Love Is Noise is, and that there's not really a limit to what they can do and what they can make.
Yeah, which is something that we've already seen from them anyway. The way that they've evolved from the very first singles and the first EP to the album and now to these songs. They're definitely a band that isn't going to just stand still in what their sound is, which is
and it gives them a sense of unpredictability as well.
Yeah,
you 100%. Never really know what to expect from a new release from them.
Next up, we've got More Than Hate by Bilmuri. Now, I'm intrigued for both your thoughts, but for me...
I'm more intrigued for your thoughts.
Yeah,
this has kind of been quite interesting. I will start off by saying, this isn't something still that makes me want to get into Bilmuri, and I would say that the hard point generally actually for me to get into them is the vocals. From this, I found the riffs and the guitar tones gorgeous. Some nice breakdowns. Obviously, there was kind of the little scream bits as you get into the end of the chorus. But as much as I can kind of objectively say it's a good song and probably what Bilmuri fans are going to enjoy, it just doesn't have that it factor for me musically that pulls me in. So I can kind of take that step back and say, yeah, I think this is a solid song, but it just doesn't give me any reason to want to go and delve further or try again after previous times of listening to them. So I can appreciate it, but it just doesn't have it for me.
Is it this song starts really heavy and then goes into... Well, I was enjoying it because I enjoy Bilmuri, but I felt this is just a standard Bilmuri song. It's a song that feels like it's about a breakup or reflecting on a previous relationship. It's got some country elements to it. It's got some metalcore elements to it. But then the breakdown hits a bit later on, and I'm okay, now this is... Until this point, it wasn't really giving me anything new, but now when that breakdown hits, I'm a bit okay, yeah, this finally has something that sets it apart from some other Bilmuri songs now. So
yeah,
I've only listened to it a couple of times, but I think it's going to be one that I'm going to have on rotation and keep enjoying more and more, I think.
I think this one's sick. I mean, American Motorsports was one of my favourite albums of the year. Last year?
I think so.
Maybe the year before. Can't even remember. But I spent a lot of time with that album, and I sort of had the same thought of this kind of just feels like another American Motorsports type song, because a lot of his other stuff I think is a little bit more like, before that album, a lot of the other stuff felt very sort of identifiable to their own albums.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, I kind of thought, oh, this just kind of sounds like another American Motorsports song. But yeah, the breakdown is sort of like the switch up that I needed for it to be like familiar enough to obviously be a Bill Murray song, but ludicrous enough to be something new. And I'm very excited for what's coming next. I'm really surprised that this hasn't like hooked
No,
you.
it just didn't, for me, like, there were definitely parts of the song that I enjoyed, but it just doesn't have that thing for me that, like, oh, sick. This is definitely like a bit of me, to be honest. So
I think we've got to take you to see them live, and
Yeah,
then you may well get
100%.
it.
on to other reviews.
We've got another new one from I Prevail, Into Hell.
Now, this has been interesting because obviously we had Violent Nature come out and it was just very short, very heavy. You've kind of got Eric's screams throughout it, and especially seeing as Brian's left, which was a lot of the identity of the sound. People have been wondering the melodic part of I Prevail, and is that going to continue forwards? And so to have this song and to hear Eric really take the chance to sing has been interesting. It does feel like obviously some of that I Prevail identity has lost. I think in particular, it feels like they're definitely kind of sticking within the genre they are. They're not going to kind of pursue more of just like a heavier route. But for a song, I think it's solid, but it still just feels like the I Prevail soul has kind of gone. So I can enjoy this, but to me, it just doesn't feel like I Prevail anymore.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I feel like my thoughts on this song are pretty similar to from the previous single as well. It's a solid metalcore song on its own, but it's just lacking something that sets it apart and like gives it that extra bit of intrigue, which I Prevail used to have. Whether that's the missing vocalist or something else in the songwriting, I don't know, but it's just not quite, like I said, great song, but it's just not quite pulling me in and piquing my interest as much as it perhaps should.
My worry at the minute is, like, based on this now, that they're going to fall from being an easily identifiable band in metalcore to becoming a very generic band in metalcore, and losing that identity, I think, has been quite crucial. There's been like a few like Instagram stories that Brian's put up kind of talking about why he left in the past day or so at time of recording. And like one of the stories he put up is that he misses Eric and wants to speak to him in person, and they've kind of had a slow gradual falling out over the last 10 years within the band. So who knows what happens going forwards. He very much kind of mentioned in those statements that he kind of wants to try and rekindle something in the future. So we'll see what happens, but at least for now, we have all this kind of new era of I Prevail. I imagine an album's on the way, and we kind of see what happens.
Will they prevail?
We will find out. Last single is Lorna Shore and Breakable. We had Oblivion come out recently, and now we have the second single, got an album in September. I mean, I'm the deathcore boy here. I really enjoy this. It feels like a really kind of weirdly polished deathcore sound to me, and really kind of getting something different for the most part here, where the guitar solos you get with Lorna Shore, I think, are very special. It's not something you see often in metal nowadays as it is, but to have it in deathcore in particular, this one kind of just feels like there's a lot of room for crowd participation when live. A really cool music video as well that goes along with it. I'm just really looking forward to the album at this point. After seeing them at Download, it was probably my set of the whole week. It was just absolutely phenomenal, and I'm all here for it, to be honest. No thoughts?
I'm going to bring the mood down.
I felt nothing when I listened to this.
I think I've had enough of this band.
Really?
I genuinely,
Disgusting.
and I know this is going to sound hypocritical because I listen to black metal and that all sounds the same. I listen to hardcore music and a lot of that sounds the same. But something about this band on this particular style of music just
Doesn't
is,
hurt for you.
you've heard one, you've heard them all, is how I feel about it. And people, and like you could say the same about black metal, or do you know what I mean? Like, so I know that that's not really a valid argument, but like, it's the same shit in a different fucking. I don't know.
I'm going to
valid
elaborate on Alex's point, or build on Alex's
Yes,
point,
please do.
and agree with him, but also say, but if you like that shit, that's great.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I think for me, like,
I just don't think my brain can take hearing another fucking
No, I'm
7
with you
minutes
on
of
that.
this ever again.
this is only like 4 minutes.
Oh, fine. You know,
It didn't feel like
you
it.
get the point.
Well, I think like, yeah, I can see your point. Obviously, like you kind of have different genres. Like you say, to me, a lot of black metal
Yeah,
sound the same.
it's-
To me, I think a lot of shoegaze sounds the same. You kind of have a few bands that stand
Yeah,
out.
and also that I know that's the point of a genre is
Yeah.
for it to be specific, and so I get that. But like, I'm not sure. There are some deathcore bands that I like, and that I think do stuff in an interesting way. Fit for an Autopsy, Whitechapel, old Suicide Silence was good, but this is just and that's it, done.
Okay.
Blast
I mean,
beats, some I hope not programmed orchestral pieces, and then hold a mic up to a pig farm. Done. Lorna Shore album.
But whose pigs? Chris Kamara.
Well, I love it. And
Sorry,
I'm looking forward
yeah,
to the
sorry.
album.
Well, don't
Just
want to
shitting all over the
I
music.
don't want to shit in your
enjoy.
cornflakes, but I tried. It's not for lack of trying. It's not like I've heard one and, do you know what I mean? I've given it a fair crack.
Onwards.
Onwards, we got a surprise album. Boom!
Ah!
From Higher Power with, and I might get this wrong because I'm saying it off the top of my head, There Is Love in the World If You Want It.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Interesting. This is the second album we've had this year that's been a surprise drop. Granted, Stray gave us like a week notice. Higher Power basically just went, there you go. And I find it odd because 27 Miles Underwater was such a good album. So good. That you would think,
And it came out quite a while ago.
Quite a
now
while
as well,
ago.
so there's been a
so
long time.
as a Higher Power fan, I've been on the edge of my seat. Like, Absolute Bloom came out like probably about a year ago, maybe. I don't know. My perception of time's all off. Fucking ages ago, it feels like. So to me, I thought, well, it's got to be new music soon. I didn't realise it was this, because they posted on Instagram as well, like new stuff soon or something like that. And I thought, oh, cool. Keep my eye out for that album. And I think it's odd. I just
album.
think, like, especially with the way that, you know, the industry's going, where you've got to feed the algorithm and you've got to fucking hammer home the same 30-second clip of your song on TikTok 100 times over to get people into it, and that's the way that the music industry is nowadays. I don't know if an album release like this is gonna work. I guess fair.
There
Like,
might be a reason
do
for
what you
it.
want, yeah. But I just think it's interesting from like a music business perspective. As far as the album itself goes, I think it's a fucking banger.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
It's exactly what I wanted from this band. I mean, like I said earlier, 27 Miles Underwater was a fantastic album that sort of crossed over like some traditional hardcore with some sort of just like 90s kind of almost stoner rock vibes. And that sort of continued on this album. I think they've got some... I actually think this might be a bit... You might think I'm being a bit hyperbolic here, but if this album had come out in like the late 90s, we'd be probably talking about this as like a fucking grunge era.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, this
classic.
and 27 Miles, to be fair, because they're pretty similar albums.
yeah.
But yeah, that was the kind of vibe that was popular around those times, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, being in the UK, like Higher Power seemed to play some very small shows, but they play some big old places in the US. To be fair,
Yeah.
they've been on some big tours. But yeah, I really enjoyed this album. I think it feels like a good progression from 27 Miles Underwater. The production seems to have kind of upped that bit in terms of the standard. And they seem to have lent a bit more and paid a bit more attention to kind of the melodic moments,
Yes.
which there are plenty of on 27 Miles, but they seem to have taken a bit more of a... like stepped into the limelight a bit more and like made the kind of melodic choruses a bit more of a focus.
Yeah, it feels like there's a bit more of a clearer division between the heavy and the melodic on this album. Whereas 27 Miles was maybe a bit more sort of seamlessly like interwoven with each other. Whereas this
Yeah.
one feels almost quite deliberately like
Yeah, this
the heavy
is a
stuff
chorus.
heavy and the melodic stuff is melodic, and it doesn't blend as easily. But that doesn't take away from the enjoyment or the flow of the album. I think All the Rage and Better are like the two big standouts for me. And it flies by as well. It's so easy to just repeat as well.
Yeah, I think part of my frustration with this is around like the release of it. Like there hasn't really been much chance to get excited for it. So therefore, it's just kind of like almost like interrupted whatever we were doing, whatever we listened to at the time, and kind of gone, oh, new higher power now. But I think the longer I sit with it, the more I play it, the more I'm going to enjoy it, and I think it's a good summer album.
Yeah, I think the thing with the release is it's like, if you know, you know, and so you're already going to be hyped.
Yeah.
But so my worry is that like I don't know how many new ears this will get to because of the way they've released it. But who are we to say?
And finally, we have the new Malevolence album, Where Only the Truth is Spoken. I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah.
What if I said this band is headlining Bloodstock next year?
Interesting you say that. I saw a TikTok with Vicky, who runs it, and she spoke about it, and she's definitely said about them being a future headliner, and that they will be announcing
Next year.
headliners for next year at the festival again this year. Only announcing 2 of the headliners, but all of the headliners for the Sophie stage as well, and then a whole load of other bands. So it looks like at that Bloodstock time, we're going to get a whole lot.
I
fully expect Malev to be on
I
there.
saw a vlog from Download Festival where a guy said that Malevolence would headline Bloodstock next year.
I think it's definitely doable.
Was that me?
Yeah.
I want to say this album, what was the name of the previous
Malicious
album?
Intent.
Malicious Intent. I think this in particular is much more cohesive than Malicious Intent. And I think it has a much better flow throughout the album. Are you disagreeing with me?
I can't. Yeah, no, I don't know. You know that clip of Rio Ferdinand where he's like, "What have we got to compare the two? Why can't we just appreciate two greats?"
Malicious Intent is fantastic.
Malicious Intent.
However,
Okay, all right.
to me,
Which one's Ronaldo?
Malicious Intent has, well, this is still fresh, so it's hard to say. Malicious Intent has the bangers.
yeah, but this
But
is an
this
overall
might be a
package.
But this
more-
one hasn't had the time to let the
Not yet,
bangers
not yet.
sit yet.
But as a complete package, yeah, I think maybe Malicious Intent might have a few more skits.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking with it. And I mean, yeah, it just feels like this is also just so much more cohesive. I mean, the singles that have come out do incredibly stand out to me on this album in particular as well anyway. Kind of hearing Trenches, hearing If It's All the Same to You, Salt the Wound, they really do stand out in the album.
Something I'll say about the singles is seeing their secret set at Download. They played If It's All the Same to You, and I totally forgot that was a new song.
Yeah.
Like
Already it's in
I was
there.
singing along to it, and I was like, "Oh, hang on a minute! This is one of the singles."
Yeah.
I will say,
So like, I thought it was one that I'd known for years from Malicious Intent, but no, it was the first time I was seeing it live.
I listened to this first, just going
I had
through...
a drink.
You had a drink?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Dan was stood in the crowd like this.
I'd listened to this as a whole album without looking at the song names or anything like that at all. And so
Ooh.
it was a very welcome surprise.
I was going to say.
When I got to In Spite and heard the familiar vocals of Randy Bly.
The dulcet tones.
And I was like, oh shit, pulled it up.
I peeked the track list before I started and I saw it and I was like,
I had no
it
idea.
took every fibre of my strength to not just go straight to that first. I was like, no.
I had
earn it. Get
no
through the
idea.
album and earn
And
it.
it was like just hearing that come in. It was the spoken word part where I was like, this sounds familiar. This sounds familiar. Now I'm thinking like Omerta.
It's Randy fucking Bly.
It's right. And then like his very distinct vocal screams come through. And I was like, this is fucking sick. This is a collab that I didn't know I needed. And it fucking rules.
Well, Malev did the remix version of Another Nail in Your Coffin for your
Yes,
coffin,
it was,
whatever
yeah.
it's called.
That Ash of the Week 20th anniversary.
Listen, this album's fucking sick. That's all there is
I
to
feel
it.
like this album does everything that Malicious Intent did well, and just times it by 10. Just takes it that step further. Like, there's more sing-along choruses, there's more breakdowns. I mean, it's the same. It was the same with Malicious Intent, but the way that they straddle that kind of bridge between hardcore and metalcore, and like loads of different just metal genres in general, just works perfectly. They just
Yeah.
encapsulate all of those. They dip their toes into all of those different genres and just bring them all together brilliantly.
Yeah.
And I think it says a lot about this album that all three of us are talking about with a smile on our face right here.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to go back and listen to it on repeat.
It's
And
been easy,
very
really
really easy to go back and want to go back.
And there's no I've said it 100 times in this podcast, but my attention span is shit, and I've not.
And also,
once,
your attention span is shit.
what was I talking about? But I didn't struggle with this ever. Like, it was just fucking start to front easy. I'm not usually one to like really bother splitting hairs about like subgenres and shit. We've said in the past that Malevolence are like one of the best at just crossover of everything from like old school metal, like I'm talking like Metallica, Pantera type stuff, to old school US hardcore, and then everything in between and everything since. But I think if you're like a new listener to Malevolence, this album I think leans more towards like the US hardcore. It's a lot more dancey, and when I say dancey, I mean like hardcore dancing. Whereas Malicious Intent was maybe a lot more sort of tried and true metal going on. So if that sways you into listening to this album for the first time, then so be it. I think it's probably because they flew to the US to record this one, so maybe that
Something in the air.
that influence sort of just crept in naturally. But I've seen them live enough times, and I think this album is going to do huge things for them. So if they're not headlining Bloodstock next year, I think it's a mistake, because we've also seen that festivals in the UK can take these risks with Sleep Token at Download and Architects at Bloodstock as well. That was kind of that wasn't really like a surefire booking at the time. So I think Malev is like, they've got to be at Bloodstock next year as a headliner. If they're not,
You know what? I'd probably go to Bloodstock if
I'd
it's
go.
Malevolence.
I'll go at least
yeah.
for that day,
Mm-hmm.
at the very least. Do they do day tickets?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
That's all she wrote.
Solid album.
Anything coming up?
Yes.
Tell me.
Pull up
Or shall
camera,
I tell
please.
you?
You tell me.
It's festival season. Is there anything coming up? Is there fuck? There's only two things to look forward to. Born of Osiris with Three Shadows. That was a band that friend of the podcast, Jacob Andrews, would not shut up about during when we were in school together. Born of Osiris, you all listen to Born of Osiris. Maybe I will, just for you, Jacob. And Split Chain debut album, Motion Blur.
Hell yeah.
Split Chain's the one for me.
Hell yeah.
Of
Agreed.
course it is.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. All right.
It's going to be brilliant.
That's brilliant. If there's
I've
anything else-
pre-ordered it at truckmusic.store.
Did you?
Yeah.
You could probably do the same at truckmusic.store.
Mm.
That's truckmusic.store. Have we been to any gigs?
We have. Well, first of all, let's just get the big one out of the way. Down at Festival.
Yeah.
Obviously was fantastic time. You can see all our thoughts, sets we enjoy in our recap podcast. The vlog is out. Go and watch that now. So we're not going to bang on about it now, but yeah, great time at Download.
Yeah, go and see what we got up to so we don't have to tell you about it.
Exactly. We both had stadium shows,
Stadium shows.
but different stadium shows.
sellouts.
Where did you go?
I went to Emirates Stadium, Arsenal, grim. London is blue, don't forget it. For Robbie Williams on the Britpop tour, night one, London night one. I had, simply put, the best time of my life. We grew up on Robbie Williams in our
Yep.
house. It
I'm
was
jealous of you.
always on. Always. So it was honestly like a... Is it bold of me to say like a lifelong achievement ticked off?
No, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I'm fucking
We
jealous.
love Robbie Williams. He was so fucking good. It was the first time in, I'm pretty sure, his entire career where he's not opened a tour with Let Me Entertain You.
Mm.
Sod's Law, that's my first show. He opened with Rocket, which is the new song from the upcoming album. And I thought going into it, it's not going to be the vibe. I want Let Me Entertain You to start. But it was sick. It was so good. And then he immediately went into Let Me Entertain You. So it was like sustaining that intro energy across two songs rather than just one.
The great video view that there is of when he gets to the now scream.
Now scream.
And
Yeah,
then you
I
just-
fucking I let one let one big one go.
And you screamed as well.
Yeah, I did.
You went for it.
It was nothing short of just brilliant. All the bangers that you could have ever want.
Highlights?
Highlights. I mean, Angels Live is honestly, I think this is going to sound like I'm taking the piss. Anyone that has ever heard that song before should have the chance to hear it live. Because it is just one of those moments, like, it should be the national anthem. I know the lyrics to Angels better than I know the lyrics to our actual national anthem. And so does probably most of this country.
Come Undone?
Come Undone was great. Feel was great. I guess,
Strong?
again, no, yes, he did do Strong. Yes, he did. He cut Supreme for, wait for it.
Oh.
This is going to sound like I'm taking the piss again, and I'm not. I'm genuinely being serious. I credit the song Keep On Moving by Five as single-handedly pulling me out of one of the worst slumps of my life when I was at university, because I made myself listen to it every single time I got on the bus to go to uni. Every single time. And it genuinely, you can't have a bad day. If that's how, it's like having Ready Break. It sets you up for the day.
Yeah, you can't, like, you know that classic head against the window, headphones in, gazing out, listening to sad songs?
You can't
do that listening to
get
Five.
on up when you're down. You can't do it. So
there's probably like a spooky piano version somewhere that's
maybe.
like,
If not, I'll make
get
one.
on up down when you're down.
So,
Anyway,
unironically, not in a jokey way, I adore that song. And who did he bring out as a special guest?
One Direction.
Five to sing Keep On Moving. So I fucking lost it. It was brilliant. I love Robbie Williams. When's he getting his knighthood?
Oh, overdue.
Overdue. And not just for the music. Shout out Soccer Aid as well. I'd like to be famous enough to play in Soccer Aid. That's the dream.
Right.
Subscribe.
So that I
to
can,
us
so that
we
I
can
can
get
like
him in Soccer Aid.
2 foot some like international legend, like Rivaldo or something. Could you imagine?
Just got Cafu.
Yeah, just Cafu, just absolutely
running down the
flooring.
wing.
Or maybe like one of the hairy bikers or something.
Wow.
Oh fuck, one of them's dead.
I had another stadium show. My first time being in a stadium, compared to that, was not your first.
Taylor Swift Eras Tour, Wembley, night 2. Carry on.
Thank you. Went to go and see Iron Maiden support from Hailstorm and the Raven Age at London Stadium, previously Olympic Stadium. It was a bit of a spontaneous one where my mate Tiger kind of got tickets the day before. So made the trip up last Saturday at time recording. The vlog is now out on the channel. Yeah, and I've never been someone that's grown up listening to Maiden in particular. I kind of know the big songs, You Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast, things like that. But I was genuinely really blown away by, one, how good they sounded live, 2, the production they had, 3, the energy of the crowd in particular, and just not being in a stadium environment before that point. It was kind of, once we got to the seats and sat there and saw everything, it was kind of a bit of shock of just seeing that many people going to see live music like that. So that was just interesting to get past. Didn't see Raven Age because we got to London a bit late and we're having food. Hailstorm sounded fantastic live. And yeah, I was genuinely really surprised and impressed by Maiden. I didn't really go into it with any major expectations. Genuinely, for someone of 66 years old, Bruce Dickinson has still got some fucking
say you're not that
pipes.
old.
Not me. Fuck you. Bruce Dickinson has still got some fucking pipes, to be fair. A lot of credit. It was really, really fun and enjoyable. And yeah, stadium show. Ticked off.
Are they redeemed from that god-awful download set? That
They,
we saw?
I genuinely very much redeemed. Came away with it like a lot of energy, really, really enjoyable. Really, really surprised me. Yeah, a good time. Go watch vlog.
It sort of makes you think, doesn't it? Like Iron Maiden have headlined Download so many times.
I think it's like 7.
Surely they won't do it again next year. But who will?
What a segue.
Wow. We need to stop addressing segues after we've done
Once
them,
we
'cause
stop
that was
addressing,
really
when we
good.
stop addressing segues
Nah.
or overdoing them like I just did, We'll be so good at this.
It's breaking the fourth wall. It's part
Gotta
of the
break
fun.
fourth wall. You got to appreciate the segue when it happens. Download 2026.
You don't see segways anymore, do you?
No.
What happened to them?
Right, we're going to try and predict who might headline the illustrious Download Festival in 2026. This year saw 3, count them, 3 brand new first-time headliners in Green Day, Sleep Token, and Korn. My first prediction for next year is that this theme will continue with new headliners, and I will be predicting Ghost.
I agree.
Yeah, I also agree.
Not a band that I particularly want to see, but you can't deny that they are massive now. Footage from even just the cues that I saw at their most recent UK tour were quite literally ridiculous. They're a massive band. I feel like people have been bamboozled by their image. I was, at least. I thought I was about to hear the heaviest shit you've ever heard in your fucking life. And it just sounded like...
Yeah, I mean, they
did
look,
not sound like that at all.
They look like...
It's a bit black metal, it feels.
They look a bit like Behemoth.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
they
then they do not sound like Behemoth.
They sound...
Go on.
Oh, I was going to say like Cliff Richard. Just for a wind-up. They don't.
They're almost a bit like... Let's stick with Cliff Richard. Cliff Richard fronting the Killers.
People might kill us for that.
I like it.
Yeah, Ghost are fucking massive.
I didn't say it's a bad thing.
I want a Mistletoe and Wine cover by Ghost now. I was going to go on that. I agree with you. It's never been something I've got into. The only thing I'll say which would be interesting is how the fuck are they going to try and control all the no phones and Ziploc bags thing? It's not happening.
They wouldn't do it.
It's not happening.
Especially when you've got people like us trying to make a vlog.
Exactly.
They wouldn't take that away from us.
Production would be good though.
Production may be interesting.
Did you see it was inflatable? Their most recent
What?
stage setup was like an inflatable.
Like a big bouncy castle.
It was like I don't know what it was.
Get me a side stage now.
Boing.
Dan, why are you taking your shoes and socks off and put them neatly on the ground?
Fucking hell.
Are we all sort of unified on Ghost as a prediction?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that and just say that their fan base just seems so like into them as well. So from like a ticket sales wise, they would like
do good for day tickets.
they do really good. Yeah,
good on you, Ghost.
and they're clearly like I made the same point about Sleep Token last year, so I need to make the same point here as well. Ghost are clearly popular enough and big enough to headline that festival.
My prediction again. A band that I wanted to see for such a long time. Got to have that with one band in particular of Green Day this year, and that's Linkin Park for next year.
Yeah, boy.
I think it's a given. They've had the announcement for, I want to say it was Rock and Ring or something like that. They've got a gap in the schedule next year. It just feels right. They just sold out Wembley Stadium, and I think they've put on social media that it was the biggest show of their career. The trajectory is still there. There's still a demand, despite obviously there's been some shows where there's been reports of low ticket sales. That Wembley show absolutely fucking proves it. They've got the catalogue. It's been a hell of a long time since they've been there. I think it's a lock. I think it has to be a given. They need to be down there next year.
It's boring to do this, but if you look at the tour dates that they've announced to Europe next summer, I think some of them are their own headline shows. Others are like festival headliners. There is a little tasty gap on that weekend in June.
There is.
So I do suspect that it's probably already locked in.
Is that unanimous as well?
I think so.
So far, I mean, this might be the first. We're unanimous on 2.
I think the third one's going to be a returning headliner. I mean, James might be happy about it now. I think Iron Maiden are going to come back again. It just feels overdue.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a bit of a recurring joke and stuff that, they're going to book Iron Maiden again. But it has been, 4 years now?
When was the last one?
Since Iron Maiden last headlined.
Was it 2019 when we first went they headlined?
No.
Might have been.
No.
Was it not?
2022.
It was 22.
Yep. I'm sure it was because
Yeah,
we sat at the
so-
top of the hill and we were like, fuck this.
Yeah, so it's been 3 years.
4 years by the time it comes round.
Yeah, so I think it's just overdue that Iron Maiden will come back. They've done their huge stadium tour this year. I think they'll at least do one more download headliner.
It feels like the amount of albums they've got as well. It'll be some kind of anniversary set they could end up doing.
Quite possibly.
Something like that. I think that is there is potential for that there.
And I think Download will want to try and keep that balance as well. Like Linkin Park and Ghost are still relatively young, new bands. So they'll probably want to chuck
Have that
something
old
like
school
Iron Maiden on there
audience.
to keep that audience happy.
My next prediction is going to be Limp Bizkit. Now, they played last year in what was one of the best sets I've ever seen, not just at Download, but in my entire life. So much fun. And I think the booking of Korn this year sort of cements the fact that these bands that in previous years have maybe been viewed as sub-headliner max level, like, actually, they do have the capacity to do it and to take that next step up. I think Korn this year demolished, and we weren't even close. We were right at the top of the hill by the Ferris wheel. I can only imagine what it would have been like to be right down there in the midst of it. I think Linkin Park. I think Limp Bizkit have the catalogue. They've got the adoration from the fans, both old and young in age. I think it'll be fucking sick.
While I agree, I think they are deserving of it and can do the set for it. Would you have two new metal bands headlining on the same festival?
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue.
Okay.
Because you just put them Friday and Sunday.
I think they can do it. I just don't know if they will, because they've done Download last year, Reading and Leeds this year.
I don't think next year's the year, but I think 27 could be.
I don't know.
likely.
Yeah, I'm with James on that.
Okay.
I just don't see them doing another major UK festival.
The demand is
third
there
year in a
for it
row.
as well. The demand is there for it. They'll blow
Yeah.
the set away again. I would just be surprised with two new metal bands headlining at the same time. I kind of think similar to you, to be honest. Because the other one that came into my head a minute ago was Deftones.
No,
But I also feel like
not big enough.
again, I think there's demand there, and they've not had that chance yet. I think they could, but I also don't think they would have two similar bands. That comes too close to Linkin Park. I think where you've got like the Ghost being the new fresh one, the Linkin Park is kind of in your middle returning headliner, and then potentially, like you said there, the Iron Maiden is the classic one. It's kind of the typical Download ilk of you kind of want to cater for your audiences with that. And seeing as you didn't have that classic band this year, I do feel like they need to fill one of those spots for next year. I just think
Do you have a
feels
prediction?
like it's
of
going to
who?
happen. Huh?
Do you have a thought of who it could be? I've got one that's
Go on.
not. It's not a Download headliner that we've had before, but it is an established festival headliner band,
Go on.
like Green Day. So it's not one that's like people are going to be like, "What the fuck?" The Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
I think it could be viable.
But then someone said to me that Dave Grohl doesn't want to play Download. But I don't know if that's just a rumour or if that's just a bit of Chinese whispers or what. But
No, I've heard that too. But
that might explain why they've
where
never
it's
done
come
it
from.
before. Because
feels
I
like,
feel like they should have already
I
done it.
also think that Foo Fighters prefer doing stadium tours than festival headliners.
Boring, but because I don't want to go to one of those.
I want to see them.
I just want to see them at
I want
Download.
to see them download.
People would love it. They're one of those
great.
bands that everyone knows every song anyway. They could probably fart out a headline set in their sleep at this point.
Oh, any other suggestions, or are we going to lock in?
I got one more
Or three.
newcomer.
Go on.
Parkway Drive. It's a risk. I know it. Listen, hey, I'm not naive. But fucking go on. Why not? Cam's in charge this year for the first time.
Is he?
Take a punt, yeah.
Okay.
He's taken over as
Interesting.
as the big dog.
All right.
Not the Download dog.
That could be interesting.
Any further thoughts?
There's a part of me.
I don't think we're in the Parkway Drive bubble.
No, definitely
So
not.
I think we are. I don't know why I'm doing this like I'm a nerd, but I think we are miscalculating their size.
Yeah, but because that's the thing. I don't know.
They're doing
and I
like
agree.
arenas and shit.
They do all of that, but there's part of me in my brain that automatically thinks for them headline. I don't know if they've done it before. Would be Bloodstock. But I don't know if they've done that in the past. But then that's just my perception.
Yeah, no,
perhaps,
yeah,
because
that's fair.
as much as I've loved metalcore, they were kind of a band that passed me by, and so I've never kind of been on the Parkway train with it. So I just don't have that perception of the size and where they should be for me to make a judgment. So maybe and based on what they did at Download before, incredible. But I just don't know in myself are they headline worthy?
I feel like they're in a weird limbo where they're too big to headline Bloodstock or like the second stage at Download, but they're probably not quite big enough to headline.
But
I think they
can't-
will be.
But I don't think they can
I think they
sub
will
main
do.
stage again.
Mm.
Because that's just... There's no progression there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tricky one. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do
Yeah.
you have any other thoughts? Or do you want to try and lock in?
Parkway or Park No Way?
I reckon let's lock in.
All right. I
I'm
think
ready to lock in.
we're all in agreement of Linkin Park, right?
Yeah.
We are.
We're all in agreement of Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's loosey-goosey for the third spot. Dan, your final prediction.
I'm not going to book Lucy Goosey. I believe the third headliner will be Iron Maiden.
I agree.
Fuck's sake.
I agree.
We don't all agree, do we?
I'm going to will it into existence. I want the biscuit. What do you think?
Bourbon or
Sorry.
custard cream?
Well, I'm currently on a dairy exclusionary diet, so I can't have any at the moment.
One of those,
Once
Regular
that-
digestive.
once
one of
that
those chocolate
ends,
starfish from
I'll be
Greg's.
going... Oh, could you imagine? That's a good marketing idea. Chocolate starfish biscuits.
Yeah.
Limp Biscuit
Get on it.
management, get us right now. What do you think about the Prodigy, by the way? Because I used to think no.
Don't think they're a headliner.
But did you see their Glastonbury set?
No, but I saw that guy that was at it.
Bonkers.
But
And I
also
think-
wasn't
I
at it
think
at the same
it's-
time.
I think they're too big. I think they're too big to be the second stage headliner. And I
Sub?
don't think...
Yeah, well, who-
You wouldn't have anyone
for
after
who?
them.
But
Yeah,
who
exactly.
could they
You
sub?
wouldn't
But
have
for
anyone
who,
after.
Chris Kamara?
There's been a sub-headliner for... I don't know. Let us know what you think about the Prodigy. They've done it before.
Is that your prediction?
No, I'm predicting Limp Bizkit, but
Oh,
it's just popped into my head.
Let us know down below who you think's going to headline. Are any of us correct? Are we all wrong?
Tell us we're wrong.
Bands we haven't talked about
Dare
you think
you.
are going to be there? Let us know. All kinds of festivals still coming up. We've got Trees right round the corner. We've got Burn It Down as well, which we're looking forward to. So there'll be recaps, previews, vlogs from those. We've got the Ragamuffin Club, link in description. It's our free Facebook community. We love talking about music with everyone. Sometimes you can't get enough of a conversation YouTube comments, so we hop on there and chat with you all. And then we've got our t-shirts. Head to ragamuffin666.uk, grab yourself a t-shirt.
If you want to get your hands on any of the music we talked about on this episode, or just any music in bloody general, truckmusic.store is the place for you.
I think that's the right side.
Lastly, but by no means leastly, we love recommending music. And usually I would reserve this spot for our Ragamuffin FM playlist. However, 2000 Trees is coming up. So instead, we will be sharing with you our 2000 Trees Ultimate Playlist. It's a pick of all the songs we think that you need to see if you're going. And even if you're not going, you should just listen to it anyway, because it's bloody good.
Discover something
Oh
new.
yeah,
And that's about it.
that's us done.
Efficient this time. We were very efficient. No dawdling.
That's good. This is a no dawdle zone.